to Elvis Shack Star. I wanted to say thank you for coming here and checking out my YouTube channel. I'd like to start out with When My Soul Whispered. It's an oracle deck. Oh, and we just had 2 cards pop out. So let's get started. First, I like to use this selenite and clear the space of any negative energies that are hanging out here in this area. I hope you guys are having a wonderful day or evening, whatever time you find yourself here. All of my readings are timeless, so whatever reading you find at the time that you're watching it is always a good time. So let's get started here. Let me shuffle the cards. And I have my crystals today. I have my beautiful orchid here with us. It's not blooming yet, but she's getting ready to. The crystal that I have, I don't know if you can see it. This is a rainbow quartz crystal. It's got kind of chunks in it. And then I have the Aqua Aura. It's a rough cut again. And then I have the citrine. And there we go. And you're welcome to take 3 deep breaths. And first breath, breathe in from your base chakra, rising all the way up through your chakras to your throat chakra, and inhale. And exhale. And second breath in, rising up. And exhale. And third breath, last one, breathe in. And exhale. Very nice. Okay, let's see what we got here. Let's cut the cards. And if you're thinking about it, please hit the like button below. Then I know people are actually watching these videos. Okay, let's get started. And one more, spirit guides. One more, please. One more card, please. Thank you. And I call upon all of our spirit guides, whichever ones each of you use, for your guidance today. Let's see what's on the bottom. Okay, what do we got? Okay, we've got divinity. We've got transcend. I like that. Unconditional. Oh, and listen. So let me tune in here. So we've got divinity, which is our angel wings with the halo. So of course, our angel guides are here with us today. We have the dream catcher for transcend. Very nice. We have unconditional with the beautiful swan. And we have listen with our beautiful seashell with the ocean in the background. And the ocean, which is colored blue, which is for our throat chakra. So I'm picking up on the energy today is with the seashell, with listen, is listening to your emotions as they come up throughout the day. I'd also like to, with this transcend card and unconditional, we've been talking a lot about the light and positivity, releasing your emotions, more on the lighter side. I have this black here, which is more for to balance it out. I think also to focus on the shadow side, the dark side, the hidden sides inside of yourself. I think that to stay centered and balanced instead of always, looking at the brighter side of life. Yes, that's great. But I think it's also good to take time to look at the darker sides. As when you come into contact with other people's energies, the energies that are triggering, the darker sides of other people, their personalities, and those energies that you pick up on, we call them the demons within each of us. And just those little things, the darker side of people when they come out, how we can pick up on those energies. It could be just little pet peeves that you have, and those annoying things of other people's personalities, of their dark sides, and just feeling those emotions, those energies, not attaching yourself to them, but to also stay in the reality of the situation and how real those emotions are, not to shove them down and just think, oh, happy thoughts all the time. I think it's very balancing to be aware of those things, of other people's personalities, the dark sides, that can just be kind of annoying, where they just kind of poke at you a little bit. And I think that it's very healthy and very balancing to look at those darker sides. So what I would like to look at today and look in the book is listen. So let's do that. Let me find our trusted book here. I believe it's alphabetical order. So let's look to the L's. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L. There we go. Listen. The beginning, it's like a little saying at the beginning, and it says, the word listen contains the same letters as the word silent, by Alfred Brendel. So again, I think it's what we had talked about in one of my previous readings, is about silence. So when these little idiosyncrasies come in and they start kind of poking at you and you feel this like aggravation, annoyance, and it starts to shift your energy a little bit to where you're having a great day or a fun evening, and this person's energy kind of shifts and starts to go more to the darker side, the shadow side, and they start doing and saying things that just kind of start getting on your nerves a little bit. Instead of picking and poking back at them and saying, do you mind quit doing that? That's really annoying me. Instead of that, maybe try to just be silent, not ignoring it, but not coming back and matching their energy. And then both of you are doing blow for blow of, okay, if you're annoying me, then I know things that annoy you, and I'm going to do those things to get back at you because you're annoying me. Or maybe you're not even aware of it and your energy is shifting and you're not paying attention because you're not in the present moment, and your energy starts to match their energy. Well, just bring yourself back to the awareness of the reality of that environment that you're in, that you find yourself at that time. Feel those emotions. feel sensations in your body, and allow yourself inside to become aware of those darker emotions, but not to take action, not to attach yourself to that other person's energy, or little digs, that they get in. Maybe they're wanting to push your buttons a little bit. Maybe they're bored and want to bring a little drama or chaos. Or maybe they've just come from hanging out with someone else that loves to swim in dramatic energy or chaos or toxicity. Like I said, sometimes I will keep selenite on me, or smaller, of course, a quartz crystal. These two crystals absorb any of that negative energy. And not that you always have to be on the lighter side, but to be aware of this person's darker sides, and to be aware of the more chaotic energy, and to just put a protective bubble around yourself, not to let it interfere. And we don't always have to come back with positive affirmations or positive sayings, or, be fake and phony and surfacey and come back with, oh, like it doesn't bother you, or, to pretend that they're not being an asshole. Maybe they're not even aware of it at the time. They're kind of swimming in other people's energy that they were with prior to the time that they're spending with you. So just to remind yourself, it's okay to feel that annoyance, feel those, triggers of frustration, or, just, God, this person's being an asshole. Just sit in your own energy and stay silent. Be aware of that other person's energy, but not to let it come into your energy field, and to still be present. Maybe it will bring a shift, maybe it will not. Not to have any expectations on yourself or expectations on the other person. Just sit in the present moment and just be aware of your surroundings, what's going on, what's being said, and stay silent. Okay, so listen. It says, many people claim to be good listeners, yet fail to possess the innate ability to really listen. People often take an active role in listening to one another, adding comments, remarks, opinions, and expressions of reaction to what they are hearing. True listening goes beyond that, which is what we were just talking about. Which can be heard with your ears. Listen for the subtle nuances. Consider the pauses. And when there is a pause, you don't always have to fill in that gap with words of advice, your opinion, your expectations. Sit in the silence. Be silent yourself and just listen to the other people or the other person. And just let the energy flow. Be present, no expectations. And just pick a time and practice just listening. You don't have to say anything, and you don't have to have a response. You don't need to take action. So, pauses, the thoughtful stares, the wistful gazes. Listen with your heart. Hear the words and allow them to evoke within you a response that gives rise to empathy and compassion. And that's that unconditional. To have unconditional love in your heart, but you don't always need to express it. Just be present, silent, and listen with no reaction. Allow others to really feel that they are being heard. Suppress any urges you have to comment or pass judgment. Bingo. Allow the story to come forth unsullied by the lens through which you see the world, with your opinions, your reactions. The more you listen, the more you will learn. And I believe that's so important. The more you learn about the person, how they function, and just being in that present, being a good listener, having compassion, regardless of whatever energy they choose to be in or the energies that they have just been around and present with before they come into your presence and into your energy field. So there are words for the lighter side. These words are attentive, aware, open, and willing. The darker side, the shadow side of your awareness, is closed, obtuse, imperceptive, narrow-minded. And that's that part where I think that it can cause us to have a reaction because we're attaching ourselves to their negative emotions, their negative energy. Just letting it go like clouds, just letting them pass by, not attaching yourself to them with no reaction, and to remain silent and to see where they choose to move forward. It may cause a shift, and they may, in you being a good listener, may give them an opportunity to purge, to vent, to release those negative energies, any pent-up emotions that they're maybe attaching themselves to. By being a good listener, I think it leaves them an open space to just express themselves without someone having a reaction, having any expectations, to just sit and listen in silence, to give them that gift. Okay, so there we go on those cards. And our next deck is the Psychic Tarot. And I've talked about this before. It's by John Holland. Oops, let me come back a little bit. You could hardly see that. Oops, there we go. Okay, so let's see what this deck has to say. I am going to shuffle the cards. So yeah, so if you find any frustrations or, I mean, even if they're being an asshole, just remember that most of the time when people express themselves in your presence, it doesn't always have to mean that it pertains to you. It can be something from their childhood that has recently come up. Like I said, other people's influences, their energies of other people that they've been around in their environments before they have come into contact with you. Most of the time, it has nothing to do with you personally. And I think in having compassion and unconditional love, which is sitting in that silence, allowing them the space to freely express themselves without any judgment, without a reaction. And the card that just came up is emotional withdrawal. So, which could be where that person is feeling at that time when they are in your presence. So I just think it's so important to allow people a free space to express themselves. Let them get their darker sides out. Let them release those demons within your presence, and having that compassion and letting them just release it, to purge it, to get it out. And then sometimes it's interesting, once you go through that phase, it kind of breaks those energies, gets it out in the open, you can release it, have your protective bubble around you so that those energies don't come into your energy field, you can choose and stay exactly in the type of energy that you choose to be in, which most of the time, you want to stay balanced, stay centered, and just have compassion in your heart and just listen, sit in silence. Okay, one more shuffle. And let's cut the deck. So I'm sitting in silence. Okay. I think it's so important to be a good listener because nowadays everyone's expressing their opinions and telling you, decisions that are best for you, always giving advice without asking first. Asking the person, not projecting your shit onto them. Say, so how are you doing today? And just sit and listen instead of, I'm worried about you. That's your own reflections and sending it out to that person of sending worry energy. Not always coming towards a person that way of, I'm feeling this way towards you. It's, how are you doing? Are you doing okay today? How is your day today? And then just sitting back, listening, staying silent, not always having to be the one to talk. And it's amazing how much you learn about that person, letting the whole creative process happen, which in my just recent past video that I did on the reflection energy check-in, just about that creative process and allowing it to go full spectrum, not just the shadow side. Most people let that shadow side, their demons, those negative energies out first, usually because of the people that they have been surrounded around in their environment previously to where they have come into your presence, into your energy field. So just sit with that creative process. Let it go full spectrum, because more times it's like a pendulum. It will swing both ways. If you sit and listen without talking, in silence, allowing that person the space to express themselves, yes, it may be more negative, more dark, more shadowy, but allow them that space, that freedom to express themselves, because that pendulum's going to swing the other way. So, okay, here we go. Okay, spirit guides. Wow, one more card, please. Okay, that's awesome. Yeah, see, here we go. Patience and planning. So having patience, I think, with that person in that space. Oh, we got an extra card. I think it can be so freeing for someone to have that special friend or that special person that just allows them the space to be themselves, even in their little demony, negative energy, allowing them the freedom to release it, to express it, without you attaching yourself to those energies, to those emotions, because they're not yours. Okay, we have number 4, foundation and achievements. Lovely. We have number 6, moving on. That's awesome. We have number 7, the crown chakra, which is purple. Wow, top to bottom. Number 1, the base chakra, which is red. And number 12 is sacrifice. Okay, this is so clear to me. Okay, so we'll start with number 4, which is foundation and achievements. So I believe in you doing the work. You've built a very solid foundation, and allowing someone else the freedom in that space to fully express themselves, shadow and light, that having that strong foundation. And number 4, which is our angel guides. So having your angel guides present, Archangel Michael, Archangel Gabriel, Archangel Uriel for friendship, unconditional friendship. And I think that having that strong foundation, you can achieve having that safe space, giving that gift to the friend or friends in that space, that time and space that you find yourself in, standing on your strong, firm, solid foundation, having that protective bubble around yourself so that that negative energy does not penetrate into your energy field, but allowing that space to release that energy into that environment, allowing it to flow, and then it will mold and shift and change as you listen, sit in your silence, even the uncomfortable silence when they're not speaking, you're not speaking. That negative energy is floating around in that environment, but there is a form of a martial art that is called Aikido. And it's a Japanese martial art. I have studied not the physical part of it, but the psychological part of it. So maybe some advice that our spirit guides are giving us during this reading. Maybe look up some of the philosophy of Aikido. And what it does is it can take negative energy, pull it in, and kind of mix and mold and churn and turn. And it kind of can surround it like yin and yang energy, masculine and feminine, negative and positive, and balance it out with more positive energy. So you have the negative and positive in balance with each other, which keeps us centered, which you can create that environment of having a centered and balanced energy surrounding you and that person that you're having that conversation with or sharing that moment with in that time, in that environment, and then releasing it out into that space, into that environment, and allowing that energy to shift and change and mold, sitting in your silence, just listening to the words that they're expressing. And I guarantee you, as that pendulum can sway towards the negative, releasing it, purging it, it will swing the other way. And then you can have an open conversation. But just pick that one time to just listen when you're in that person's presence. That whole time that you're there for an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours. For me, I'm pretty good for about an hour. And then I'm ready to move on to the next environment. But if you have the patience, if it's longer than an hour, 2 hours, and remember, you can pick your time that you spend with that person. Okay, our next card is number 6, and that is moving on. So number 6, again, is love. So sitting in that unconditional loving energy for yourself, for that other person, giving it as a gift. And the moving on, I believe, and if you see, it looks like he's holding on to a watch, a pocket watch. So again, like I said, knowing the amount of time of patience that you have sitting in your strong foundation and not overdoing it as well, not getting lost in that person's time, in that person's energy, set that time knowing how long of patience that you have, sitting in that time for an hour, setting time aside for that person, saying, hey, let's meet, for a cup of tea, a cup of coffee, in the evening after work for happy hour. Not spending 5 hours and having 4 or 5 drinks until you get completely shit-faced and then you do and say things that you're going to regret later. But, having that time set of, okay, we, each of us know ourselves, we know the amount of patience that we have, not to have too many expectations on yourself of, oh, I can go 3-4 hours sitting in this person's presence, sitting in their energy, in the environment that you're sharing together. Give yourself a timeline. Hey, let's meet for an hour and hang out. I have in my schedule, I have an hour. I would love to take that hour and spend it with you. So the next card that we have is number 7, and that is the crown chakra, which is purple. So that's that unconditional energy of which our crown chakra is enlightenment, the spiritual realm, connecting to our spirit guides. As you're sitting in that presence, looking for signs from your spirit guides, is the energy in the room right? Reminding you to tap into your elements. What elements are in the room to keep you centered, keep you balanced, so that that other person's purging of negative energies, their the things they've been holding on to, their frustrations of other people that are bothering them at the time, things that were said to them, opinions that other people forced onto them. Just sitting in that presence, tapping into your elements to keep you centered, to keep your balance, while you're listening to this other person purging of their emotions. The next card is our base chakra, which is red, number 1. So, and being aware of these numbers, number 4, number 6, number 7, number 1. So when you're in that environment, if any of these numbers come up, say you're buying a cup of coffee, you're if it's for lunch. Again, like I said in my previous readings, pay attention to the numbers. Your spirit guides are always trying to connect with you, always trying to communicate with you. So if you find a little, like a little dig of something, if that person is projecting these attachments of these emotions and projecting them and forcing them towards you, having that protective bubble. Number 4 again is our angels. Number 6 is love. Number 7, it could do with the month, July. Number 1, January. So just pay attention to the numbers when you purchase if you treat your friend to lunch, or treat them for a cup of coffee or a cup of tea, or treat them in the evening for happy hour. Say, hey, let me get this, let me get this time. I would love to treat you. When you make that purchase, pay attention to the numbers that are in that purchase number. What all the items add up to. Pay attention to those numbers. So base chakra, again, comes to our foundation. Focusing on your achievement that you'd like to achieve, the ending results of that moment. Feeling good about yourself, that you had the strength to sit in your strength, your self-confidence, of knowing that you have the strength to sit in your strong foundation and listen, stay in silence, Allow the other person the space to talk. If there's those uncomfortable silences, having the strength to let that silence pause. It may feel uncomfortable because you may used to be talking all the time. Every time you're in someone else's presence, you do the talking. They expect you to fill in those uncomfortable silences. Sit in that uncomfortable silence, staying silent, no talking, and allow that person the space to have their own open communication. Sitting in your strong foundation. Okay, and the final card is number 12, which is sacrifice. See the rainbow, a Native American woman, for peace, bringing peace to that environment, to that surrounding, and sacrifice. I think sometimes for our friends, I think it's healthy to make sacrifices. And making that sacrifice of not having to speak your opinion in that moment, in that time being shared. Give them that gift of compassion, that gift of unconditional love by keeping your mouth shut, by just listening to the words that they're expressing, letting the full spectrum swing. And sometimes you may be surprised at how quickly the energy will shift and how their opinions, them sharing themselves, how the energy will shift by you allowing them the freedom of expression and just sitting in that space, just observing. Be an observer for once, and fully listening with your heart on the negative, the shadow, the dark side, that purging, and then being witness to the shift as they start to shift their opinion, shift their expressions. And when they ask you, how are you feeling? How are you doing? Keep it short and speak your truth and then be silent again. Maybe an expression of some positive experience that you had earlier that day prior to coming into their presence, the time that you're sharing with them. And then become silent again, allowing them the freedom to express themselves. Okay, I would like to read from the book on sacrifice, which is number 12. And again, 12. If you glance at your phone to check your time to see, okay, it's been an hour. Do I still want to stay in this person's presence? Where is my patience level? Have I spent enough time in this person's energy? And then, yes, it's time for me to go. And let's see. So 12, if you look at the clock, you look at your phone, there's a clock in the room or in the restaurant or in the area that you're in, or you hear somebody else speak the time. 12, 12, 11, 11. Those are your spirit guides, which could be your angel guides, your spiritual animal guides. If a dog goes walking by or a dog comes into your presence, tap into the spiritual energy of that animal. A butterfly could fly by the window, or if you're sitting outside at a cafe, a butterfly may come by, a hummingbird may come to the flowers that are around that setting. Tap into your spiritual animal guides. They're speaking to you. Let's see, what else? Your passed on loved ones. You may get a fragrance of someone walking by or the person that you're spending that time with in that present moment. Fragrances, sounds, sight. You may see someone wearing a brooch or earrings that remind you of a passed on loved one. They are there with you. They're supporting you. They're communicating with you. Be open to your surroundings. It keeps you present and it keeps you aware and it keeps you centered, grounded, and balanced. Okay, so let me read from the book on number 12, and then we will be finished. Okay, let's see if I can find it here. Here we go. Sacrifice. It says, powerful achievements are usually born as a result of great sacrifice. This card represents self-sacrifice and a time when you should look around your life to see what needs to be released. By surrendering and letting go. That's letting go of expectations that you have or that you may be holding of this other person that you're spending time with. By surrendering and letting go, there will be more room to receive. The rewards for this are transformation, wisdom, gratitude, and enlightenment. So it's giving that gift of allowing that person to be themselves, full spectrum, shadow side and the lighter side. This card signifies that there's a situation happening or about to occur in your life and you can't control the outcome. Letting go of the outcome, letting go of any expectations of any direction that you want to move towards or that you expect what the outcome should be of this time that you're spending with this person, not expecting to get something from them or expecting a reaction from them, allowing them that freedom of expression. Okay, this would be a good moment to pause, rest, have patience, reflect, and meditate. It would be wise to stand back so you can learn to look at events with a more understanding, intuitive eye, listening to your intuition, being patient, allowing that person to express themselves fully and freely. But listening to your intuition when it's saying, okay, you've given this gift, you have allowed this person this freedom, this space to express themselves. Where is my patience level? When your intuition says, okay, we're done, I've given them this gift, now it's time to end and move on to the next situation, the next environment. Okay. Try to view people, issues, or problems from a different perspective. That's the other thing, learning to see life from another person's perspective. Be open to see which side, which angle they choose to look into a situation. They choose to look at themselves. They choose to look at you. It may open yourself up to broaden your awareness on other ways to perceive different situations and different people. If you can achieve this, it will have a profound effect on your soul and your life. The sacrifice card can also symbolize a period of transition and change. By you giving this gift and allowing them this freedom of expression, it may bring a shift and a change to their energy that they can pay it forward to the next situation, next person, next environment that they move towards throughout that day or throughout that evening. So that it's that gift that keeps on giving. The solutions you seek may be slow in coming, for it could be necessary to live into the answers. I like that. Live into the answers. Accept the things that you can't control. Heal and leave the past behind. Absolutely. Move toward your future, and watch for new doors opening and paths that are being shown to you. So in that situation, you may find yourself There may be opportunities or doors that will open in connection with sharing that time and space with that person. Not only are you giving them a gift, maybe they have a gift to give you as well that they had forgotten about or that they weren't even aware of. By allowing them to purge those dark sides, those demons, those pent up negative emotions that may have been pushed onto them from other people as well, or stuff may have been holding on to for a long time, and no one has given them the opportunity to purge and release it. Maybe they have opportunities or ideas at once they purge that they're willing to share with you that can help you move further along your journey as well. Opportunities, doors that will open, maybe a person that they're connected to that maybe they can say, oh, I know this woman or I know this man that I was talking to, and it could be in the area that forward your work or a goal that you've been striving for that you had shared with them in the past. You know, hey, I ran into this person. It might be a great opportunity to connect with this person. So it's that reciprocity and just having a free energy flowing in that environment through your silence, through listening, this gift that you're giving them, they're without them even knowing it. They may reciprocate that gift back to you. So, okay, that's it. We're finished. Woohoo! Thank you so much for tuning in. I really appreciate you taking the time to listening to these videos. Please hit the like button below if you find yourself resonating with any of my energy check-in videos. Please hit the subscribe button. And I believe we are all finished. So I send you out into the day, into the evening. Remember to listen, sit in silence, and practice unconditional love. And listen to your spirit guides in the environment, in that present moment that you find yourself in. Peace, love, prosperity, and I send you out into this world we called life and listening to other people's perspectives and with an open heart. Thank you so much. I love you guys. Have a wonderful day.